Nancy, are we good to go?
We are good to go.
Great. All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ami Tucker. I am the Executive Director of the TPA, and I am really excited about this moment for the Podcast Academy. Obviously, we'll talk about this past year, but really, I'm excited to also talk about setting the tone for what we're building together. And today is really about three things. It's about transparency, momentum, and I want to make we want to make sure you all feel connected in this and what we're building together. So I know some of you have been on this journey with us since the beginning. Some of you are new. And so either way, we appreciate you being here and being part of the organization. This is your organization, so thank you for being here. I'm going to say a few words about this past year, and then a few of our Board of Governors are here. They will speak as well. We will have a Q&A portion at the end. Please put your questions in the Q&A box, not in the chat box, so it's easier to keep track of. So, at our core, I'm sure many of you know the Podcast Academy exists to really elevate podcasting as a craft, a business, and even more so a cultural force. We know podcasting is everywhere. And I think, the TPA is really here to connect with creators at every stage, whether it's emerging voices or industry leaders, and give access to tools, relationships, and recognition needed to grow. So whether it's through our mentorship, our programming, or the ambies, everything we do is about really creating a world where podcasters can thrive. I mean, I've been an independent podcaster myself for 6 years, so I know that the industry isn't always easy, and I know it takes a village to make it grow. So, the state of the academy, in 2025, we generated just over $500,000 in income, and we invested about 657 back into the organization. You'll notice that we were in the negative. We had money in the bank to cover that, and we continue to watch our finances and expenses and raise plenty of money, of course. This past year was about growth and investment for the Podcast Academy. We made very intentional decisions to invest in areas that expand our reach and impact, especially around the Ambies, our partnership with On Air Fest, and our broader programming throughout the year. We currently have 826 members, active members, which is strong and a meaningful foundation. And we're excited to continue growing this year. So none of this is possible without our very small but fierce HQ. These guys work above and beyond, and I could not do anything without them. Our Board of Governors as well. Some of them are here. We just had our elections for the 26-27 term, and we are very excited to work with a team of 17 from all backgrounds and all parts of the industry. This is a very hands-on and committed group, and that's why we are able to move forward with real momentum. Um, and before I introduce the committees, I want to remind all our members that these committees are, sorry, beside the executive, the Ambies committee, the marketing committee, and the membership committee. Our committees are mixed of board of governors and members, and you all can join. If you are interested, I will put my email in the chat, and you can also email info@thepodcastacademy.com and let us know if you'd like to join. So I'm going to pass this on to Ilana, who is part of the executive committee, and will tell you a little bit more about what they do.
Hi, everybody. Alana, I spent the last 2 years as the at-large member on the executive committee. So just being a touch point for conversations and sort of a mediary in a lot of ways. The committee as a whole, our chair is Christy Mirabel. She's actually one of the founders also of the Podcast Academy. Jen Sargent is well, I'll go, and she sort of serves as the president, guides a lot of the decisions we make and the votes, things like that. Jen Sargent was the vice chair of the last year, 2 years, and sort of steps in whenever the chair isn't available, also keeps things running. We have our secretary, EB, who keeps track of all of our meetings, can report out on anything we discussed, does the follow up on it. And then Maddie Stodd, our treasurer, so working with headquarters and Christy and the executive committee on the budgets, some of the items that Ami just ran through, and anything else that might come up affecting our finances and bank accounts.
Thank you,
I think that
Alana.
summarizes it, right?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Next, we have the awards committee led by Donald Albright, who is the chair.
Hey everyone, Donald Albright, founding governor, Podcast Academy, been here since the beginning. Have chaired the Ambies Committee for the last 2 years and former chair of the executive committee. Really excited about this past Ambies, where we brought the award show to Brooklyn.
Sorry. Sorry,
Uh,
Donald. We had a video here. It's not showing up. I'll just keep going. Oh, there we go.
oh wait, there we go.
Would you like me to play this one
Let's
for
go for it. Is
everyone?
there sound on the
I
video?
I don't know. Oh, I don't know.
Let's
There we
check it
go.
out.
Can you guys see it?
Yep.
I'm a person who listens to a lot of podcasts, so it's very cool to be here. If only to put faces to so many voices that I recognize.
Yeah, we're hearing it but not seeing it. I think it's maybe just the
Are you
Zoom.
not, are you guys not seeing it?
Yeah, we're not seeing it. I
Let's
think
go.
it's on our website.
It's on the
Okay,
website.
it's on the Abby's website. It's kind of a compilation of how the event went. Fifth Ambies. Like I said, first and foremost, can't do this without an amazing committee. Everything that you're going to hear, if you're a new member or even a new governor, some of who we have here, everything's done by committee. Can't be done without the members. Can't be done without many people contributing to these committees, including the awards committee. And some of these committees are you have to be a member. I'm sorry, you have to be a governor to serve on. Others you can serve on, like the Ambies Committee, where we try to get a variety of folks from around the industry to give input, whether they be agents, independents, creators, from big networks, so on and so forth. Ambies competition this year, I believe in someone fact checking here. Uh, I believe this is our most submissions that we've had over our 5 years. And so we had nearly 1,800 submissions. The way this works is that there are two rounds of judging from the Blue Ribbon Panel. Blue Ribbon Panel are judges who are all TPA members, and they vote across an 8-week period. Um, there are 200 of those judges, and they listen to the entries. We ask them to listen in their entirety, evaluate, and that's how we actually get our nominees. Um, there's also an executive Blue Ribbon panel who are also Podcast Academy members who judged on other specific categories. This year, we also introduced the Vanguard jury who voted on, for the first time, Podcaster of the Year. So we were trying to add new things each year and kind of evaluate in between to see where the AMB should go in years to come. Uh, and we want to make sure obviously there's no conflict. So if you're submitting to the Ambies and you're on the blue ribbon panel, you're given a category that you are not actively submitting in, just so there's no conflicts there. And there is a very the system of voting for the Ambies is not just kind of an up down vote or a 1 to 10 score. It is scored, but it's scored across 6 7 different categories depending on what the actual category of the nominee is in. So it's very robust kind of a voting system. Just a few visuals, kind of reiteration of some of the Blue Ribbon panel information, but some of the shows that were nominated and won, some talent as well. And then this year We had Wyatt Cenac, comedian, podcaster, as our host, as well as DJ Don Will. Brought more of a party kind of vibe to it, with the DJ. Really cool, kind of remixed theme songs as for podcasts as the winners came up to accept their award. It took place as part of On Air Fest for the first time. So part of our move to Brooklyn, it was very calculated to be in partnership with On Air Fest, and kind of level up the event. We also give away we award the governor's award as well as the impact award each year. This year's recipients was the late Reggie Osei for impact, as well as Kara Swisher for our governor's award. And just some cool pictures. Hey, there's me on the right. We had a stuffed pigeon for the first time. That was unique. We had some great talent come out. Torre, one of our Vanguard jury panelists, right there in the middle with Pablo Torre, who won Vanguard Podcaster of the Year. And we have great partnerships to really elevate the Ambies and make sure that what you are seeing on stage and the hype that you're feeling around the Ambies is also seen and feels big wherever you see it. So here's one of our two Times Square billboards that we had. This one was with Outfront, one of our sponsors, and it was highlighting our podcast best host, I believe it was, who was featured on the billboard. Yeah, it was an overall great event, and looking forward to moving forward for next year, bigger and better.
Great. Thank you, Donald.
Okay.
Next up, I'm not sure if Ty is here. I don't
I'm here.
see him. Oh, hi, Ty. I didn't see you. Sorry about that. Next up is the marketing committee, and Ty King, who is on the board, is chairing it, and I'll let him talk to you guys more about what they've been doing.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Ami. If you guys don't know, I'm Ty King, and I started off in TPA as just a member. I joined, a couple of years ago, went to one of the Ambies events and was like, what is TPA? Like it's everything I was looking for. I met with Ami way before she was the director. And Yeah, she really told me about everything that was going on, the communication that we have, the opportunities for mentorship and meeting people at the top and helping you develop your own skills and get connected to the wider, breadth of the community inside of podcasting. So, um, on the board of governors for a year now. So it's been my first full year, and we've been working on the marketing committee. And this is what we've done since I've joined on since last year. So we did several different events um, where we go across the country. Please sign up to the blue ribbon panel. Yes, please. Thank you. Um, Several different events over the past year, 12 months, and then like we've done a lot just here in the beginning of this year. So we can move kind of fast to these. We did podcast movement in Dallas. We went to Evolutions in Chicago. And then we did Podfest Expo in Florida. Then we did the podcast show London, which is coming up again now next month. PopCon, we did that for the first time, and we did Resonate in Virginia. Um, Basically what the marketing committee does is that we're the messages, right? We're sending out the message of like what is TPA and help tap into the wider market of people who are interested and would be good members or sponsors or anybody that has any kind of interest inside the podcast industry. Why should they be involved with TPA? And get them convinced enough to where they join or they help donate or become a partner some way, some form or fashion. Um, Activations and partnerships. So we produced on-site activations, including On Air Fest and South by Southwest. Of course, we were at the Ambies this year in New York through a blizzard and through all kinds of obstacles, but we made it happen. So in South by Southwest in Austin, just a few weeks ago, we recorded 28 podcasts in an outdoor studio on a rooftop. And We used the Namano devices to record from the outdoors. And so we got to experiment with some new technology that was coming out that was blocking out all the airplanes and birds and traffic noises down below on the street. It works beautifully. We actually got to use the video sync feature for them as well, and be the first test subjects for that. So we support industry events, including RCAS, some smaller festivals that happen around the country, the Health Podcast Summit, Quoted Media Mixer. We get involved wherever we can. And basically, if there is an event near you that we don't know about, please let me know. We'll get that added to the calendar. We'll see if somebody from TPA can be there because with the biggest thing is we want to make sure we have a presence anywhere that people are talking about podcasting. That's really important. Um, Content and programming. So we hosted Ambi's focused webinar for nominees and winners. What this did was help people prepare for what needs to happen whenever you are submitting for an award. What do you do with it afterwards? Because it's nice, it's very shiny, it sits on your shelf, but like, what does it actually do for you? So that webinar was awesome. I believe we have a replay of that if you want to look at that as a member, and led Ambi's social strategy, including red carpet interviews and coverage. We captured lots of content this year that we'll be releasing throughout the year. So marketing and brand development, we brought social media in-house. We used to use a third-party company, and we all brought that inside, and we split the two different brands of Ambi's and TPA into two different accounts. And so if you're not already following it, look us up on Instagram, and if you use Facebook, same thing. It's the Podcast Academy and the Ambies each have their separate accounts. Follow both because different content gets posted to both of those. The Podcast Academy is also on LinkedIn, and we have a YouTube channel as well. So we led website redesign to improve user experience. If you're a new member, this is probably not as exciting to you, but if you're an older member, we use a new company called GlueUp, and we have an opportunity for you to set up a new profile for yourself, but also there are all these engagement tools that are part of it. If you haven't taken advantage of that, please go to the Podcast Academy's website, log in, set up your profile, and interact with some of the things that are going on there, because there's a whole lot of conversations I've noticed over the past week that started popping up, and it's really interesting and good information to have that you may not have known before. So make sure you do that. Committee members are welcomes to the TPA members personally. So we reach out to everyone who becomes a member and let them know, hey, welcome to TPA. Here's what we are. This is what we do. I know there's a lot that's involved here and a lot that's offered to you. Let's have a call if you need to help it whittle it down to like what's the most beneficial for you, so we know where to put your time and energy. Developing resource guides and centralized funding page for members. We do, like I said, basically we're taking the messaging and we are the ones that send it out into the world and figure out how can we get more engagement from people and how do we get more involvement. So if you're watching this, you're like, I want to be involved with that marketing committee, you can. Reach out to me or Ami or anyone on this board and say, hey, I would love to be part of the marketing committee. It takes all kinds of talent and experiences, and so everything is welcome. If you're a copywriter, if you're a script writer, if you're a podcaster, if you've got great personality, we always need those. So yeah, feel free to, and please reach out for that.
Thank you, Ty. You guys are killing it. I feel like you guys are having the most fun in this committee. So, next, I want to introduce Brandon, who is will be leading the membership and creator experience this upcoming term.
Hey y'all, I'm Brandon Schechter. We're gonna try and have more fun than Ty this go round, apparently. So what I run is the Membership Creator Experience Committee. Essentially, if Ty is all the front-facing stuff of the organization, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that there's programming, there's stuff, there's steak to the sizzle here at the Podcast Academy. So your membership, you have the opportunities to do what you want to do. You have the networking, you have all of those sorts of things in the program. So a little bit about what we've done so far this year. Obviously, we've focused on education and programming that way. There's been a lot of webinars that have going on. They're focused on industry trends, tools, and professional development. We've got a bunch coming that way. They're for all different angles, right? Whether you're a first-time podcaster, whether you have questions, whether you're interested in marketing, anything of that nature, we're doing that. Of course, at the same time, I'm going to just back up Ty here on, if you haven't been on our website on GlueUp yet, and you haven't done that, one of the ways that we come up with ideas for webinars is your questions. So if you guys get over there, you've got questions. We recently had someone ask about, should I join a podcast network? And now I'm really excited. I see Greg's on the call here. We have Greg, who has the Podcast Network Insights podcast, is going to be doing a webinar discussing everything about what are the things you can consider if you want to join a network, right? So that's a big deal for you to be able to come and say, this is what I need. And we can go ahead and we can help that with professional development, right? At the same time, we're really focused on career growth. We have different types of members, right? We have folks who are podcasters by hobby. We have folks who are doing podcasts for content marketing for their main job. And of course, we have folks who are salary employees of networks and are in the industry as like a W-2 employee. So we really are interested in workforce development and growing that part of the podcast academy as well. Community engagement wise, supported in-person regional connections. We have Steve Lack was the committee chair this last go round, and man, there's no one who is more excited about being out at podcast conferences than him and Ty. So anything, I know Ty just talked about it, so I won't go too deep, but reach out and see us if you're at a conference for sure. The big flagship thing that we do that I cannot recommend enough, if you have joined the academy and you're wondering where can I get involved, is this mentorship program. It is absolutely the coolest program ever. You can come, put your name in. We have different cohorts, so you do have to sign up at for the fall or the spring. I don't think there's a summer one, but essentially you'll be matched with, tell us your goals. Why did you join the academy? What is it you're looking for? And we are going to help match you with a professional who's been in the industry and can help you achieve those goals. Okay. That is 100% free within your membership. Okay, so you can get that access to somebody. You can set up goals. There's also separate seminars that we put on for that mentorship. It's a great program. And if you don't, I say this in two ways. If you don't think that you're new enough to be a mentee yet, do it anyway. Okay, because there's people in there that are going to teach you something, give you a different perspective. Even if you're a small business owner, do it anyway. Take that chance. Also, be a mentor. We always need mentors. It is a blast. It is probably the most fulfilling thing that I get to do here at the Podcast Academy is being a mentor. And so please consider that. At the same time, also really excited. Alejandro and Nancy have been able to put together. We also have a Spanish language mentorship program. So we're really excited to roll that out the last year. Let's see, we had the guest speaker series. I've talked about that. And increased accessibility by removing barriers to participation. Yes. So essentially, look, here's what we're trying to do the next year is we're trying to give you more programs that you need in order to be successful in what you want to be and what you want to do here. So if you're interested in being a part of that discussion, please send me a message over on GlueUp. If you'd like to come be a part of the committee, do that. I love hearing ideas. I love folks who really want to get their hands dirty and help us set up programs. We'd love to have you on the committee. You get to meet a lot of people, and we really get to kind of build out what it is that we need as individuals in this industry from this committee. So I'm excited to see all these names on the attendees list that are that I've gotten to see before. So thank you all for being here. And yeah, I guess that's it for me.
Thank you, Brandon. I actually I have to echo when I started out, it was through the mentorship program, and it was probably the best thing I did. I started as a mentee and then a mentor, and the people I met through that have become my podcast family at these different events, and so I highly recommend it. Here are some upcoming events. I know Ty talked about some of them. One thing we've started this year is the new member welcome meeting. It's a monthly series for new members, or even if you've been a member, to answer any questions, help with onboarding, meet our team. These are every month. And we'll be at the Podcast Show London. I will be at booth E13. Please stop by and say hello. If you would like to sign up and help out with the booth, we would also love that. And we do have a discount for those that are coming. And so please email info@thepodcastacademy.com, and we're happy to give you all that information. And we plan on also being with a podcast movement later on this year. I quickly wanted to talk about initiatives we are looking at, thinking about building currently for 2026, kind of three milestones, missions, pillars, whatever you want to call them. And I think the first one starts with platform and member experience. We mentioned Glue Up and the member engagement on there. It really is a cool software program, and the community engagement on there is kind of like our own personal Facebook, and it's been really fun to engage with members on there. So I really do recommend going on that. But yeah, we want to invest in this infrastructure. And, at the end of the day, membership experience is everything. And so moving up to Glow Up this year has really allowed us to streamline how we communicate, engage, and deliver value. The second kind of pillar we're looking at is industry access. And I think we want to rethink access to the industry. We want to help create a system where, creators, opportunity meets talent. Creators could connect with people that they normally would not have a chance to, and break down the barriers that a lot of us face in the industry. And then the third kind of pillar is revenue and partnership. We are actively building a stronger and more diversified revenue model. So we want to expand sponsorships, introducing more corporate membership opportunities, and really create clearer ways for partners to engage with us. Of course, our partners can't do anything without them. They are a critical part of our ecosystem. They have helped us expand our reach, support us through all of our initiatives year round, and really create more opportunities for you guys. And so we are excited to work with partners this year. If you or anyone you know is interested in partnering with us, again, please email us, info@thepodcastacademy.com. Mine is executive@thepodcastacademy.com. I'm happy to talk to anyone. And before we get to the Q&A, this is our social media links. Please follow, DM, interact. We love to hear from you. I just want to make sure there's no other board of governors on here that have not been introduced. Sorry, I can't see everyone. So if there's someone here I've missed, pop up on video, say hello, introduce yourself. Otherwise, we can get to the Q&A.
Hi everybody.
All right.
Sorry, I had my video off.
Oh,
I'm
no
Norma.
worries. Hi, Norma.
Sorry. I was on a recording. I'm Norma Jean. Can you guys see me? I can't
Uh,
see
I
myself.
can't. We can hear you.
Weird. Yep, hold on one second. Oh, that's why. Hold on one second. I think it's this one.
Gotta
Nope.
love Zoom.
What a moment. Thanks everybody. Hi, I'm Norma Jean. I'm excited to be here. So, thanks
Great.
everybody. Yep.
All right. I see a few
Yeah,
more now. Go
we
ahead.
can. Yeah.
Did I miss a round of introductions before you guys started the call today?
No, this is it.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry. Okay. I'm
Yeah.
Norma Jean. I work in audience development. I have a podcast called PodBiz. It's about podcast monetization. I have a background in platform and marketing, events, and strategy. So super excited to be here. I loved hearing about all the committees and yeah, thanks.
Fallon, if you want to go next, I'll call you guys out.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Fallon. I'm a podcast executive producer and talent manager. I'm based out of Los Angeles. My background is in producing podcasts. Currently, I produce the podcast Image Unscripted for the NAACP and the podcast Boss Moves for Kevin Hart's trainer Boss. You can check those out. I recently also too helped develop Westbrook Media's podcast platform, and I've been on the board for some time now, and happy to get my board seat back. So thanks. I'm happy to be a governor again.
We are happy you're here. Eric, would you like to go next?
Sure. Hi, I'm Eric Barnett, Vice President Revenue for Supporting Cast. So, been in the industry now here for 15 years or so in the audio industry as a whole. So, in supporting Cast, we really do all about podcast subscriptions. So, I'm really passionate about helping creators and podcasters sort of find new ways to monetize the work that they're doing. And then prior to that, was in the audiobook industry for 10 years as well too. So, I have a lot of experience in the audio, and excited to sort of bring that experience here to the TPA.
Great. Thank you, Eric, and welcome.
Thank you.
Nikki?
Hi, good morning,
Hi.
everybody. I'm Nikki Boyer. I was lucky enough to learn about this beautiful group of people by winning the inaugural podcast of the year for Dying for Sex. So I came in like in the best way possible. Like, it's only down from there, right? No, I'm just kidding. I came in such a beautiful way, and then I was lucky enough to host the Ambie Awards the following year. So I kind of came in a different way, and now I'm just so excited to be a part of this group of people, a part of continuing the ripple effect of wonderful storytelling and podcasting, and honoring those who do it so beautifully, and honoring those who do the behind the scenes work as well. So I'm so grateful to be a part of both sides. I have my own production company, Dying for Media. I bring podcasts to television. I'm an executive producer and a really great coffee getter on set as well. That's me.
Thank you, Nikki. EB?
Being in audio, let me turn my microphone on. I'm EB Moss, and I create content all about media marketing and advertising. I'm a specialist in B2B communications. I am the acting secretary on the executive committee here at TPA. I've been in podcasting in some form or another since about 2014 or so. Started quite a few of them, and my current show is called Insider Interviews with Media and Marketing Executives. And I choked up on that. Sorry. I'm a journalist and love everybody on this platform. It's a great organization. So if you haven't joined yet.
Thank you, EB. And think Casey is last.
Yes. So, hi, everyone. My name is Casey Lou Waiters. I am based in Atlanta and I am a multi-hyphenate podcast professional, anything from production, editing, sound design to market research and data analytics. So, very excited to get to know everyone here and just learn more about how everyone is contributing to this industry that has been so welcoming to me in so many different areas. So, it's great to be here.
Great. Okay, we will open it up to Q&A. The board is also welcome to answer these questions. So let's see. All right, I have one question. Apologies if this was already covered, but has the audit come up? The bylaws require one every 5 years, and if they were adopted, we'd be right on schedule for one right now. Yes, so we do one every year with our taxes, which is currently happening. It's all public record, so that's currently what we are working on. Our taxes are due May 15th. That's why it's currently right now. Any other questions? Okay, anyone else from the board want to add on anything? I know Donald, Alana, Brandon, and Ty talked a little. If you guys want to talk more about your backgrounds or anything else you want to add about being part of the TPA?
I think we got a new question just popped in.
Sorry, Donald?
I think a new question just popped in the chat about
In the
mentorship.
chat, sorry. If you guys can ask your
Yeah.
questions in the Q&A so I can keep track. Let's see. How can I reach out regarding the mentorship program to become a mentor or to request? Oh, yeah, right there. That's her email. She's in charge. So any questions? You can also always email me. I'll write it out here as well.
As the next go round goes around, there'll be emails also inviting folks to join. So you'll know a couple months in advance.
Great.
And I'll just add, I put this in the chat earlier. I mean, every level is kind of involved in TPA. So don't think that if you think you may need a mentor, that's great. There'll hopefully someone out there we can pair you with, and we try and do some like matchmaking. But also, you likely, depending on how long you've been doing it or what your expertise is, even if you think you need mentorship, you probably could also still be a mentor to someone else who's coming up. So definitely need both, and it's the more the better. And I'll reiterate what I said also just about the blue ribbon panel, which is like a tongue twister every time I say it. Um, we could not pull off the Ambies without 200 folks signing up to listen to all of those submissions. Um, the Ambies, to be able to continue, we take sponsorship, it takes submissions because submissions are a huge part of how we finance the Ambies. And the more submissions that we get, which every year we want to get more, means the more judges that we need. So, um, and I know folks who are on this panel, and I've been on it as well. You do learn a lot about podcasts by listening to so many in a short period of time, and maybe a category of show that you aren't typically listening to, and really just understanding how much talent is out there in our industry that maybe you wouldn't have been exposed to without being a judge. So I would highly recommend it.
Very much.
I just want to weigh in on one thing also. I'm I'm also on the marketing committee with Ty, and I think it's so important that we clearly communicate the value of being a member. And I know that Brandon would be really curious just to find out what are the objections, what might be missing for you, how do we kind of appeal or reposition in marketing and membership, what might get in your way from the very low cost of entry to really understand what the values are of being part of this organization. It's just so menschy, if that's a word. There's just great people who are all volunteering their time. And what's really great also is that in a lot of the different markets, like Ariel Niesenblatt, who was just recently on the board, she always organizes little get togethers. Like there's one coming up in May in Brooklyn that she does kind of on her own steam. But there's a lot of people all over the country who are organizing things. So you can be part of satellite get togethers and cocktails or whatever than the bigger organizations that Ty was talking about and Donald's talking about with the Ambies and showing up at Podcast Show London. So come on in, the water is great. Or tell us why you wouldn't.
Yes, all feedback is appreciated. Thank you, Evie. And I want to add, this board is awesome. They're energized. They really love the industry. They all are experts in their fields, and it's just great to work with them. So excited about this new term. If that's it, I will wrap it up. Thank you so much. Oh, I see. Sorry, one more question.
There's a few questions in here.
Yes, I see. I do see them. Sorry about that. Um, Any updates on plan to use the TPA's leverage to push back against the flood of AI content into the podcast space? James Cridland is reporting today that more AI shows dropped yesterday than authentic human shows. I'm going to throw this one to the BOG if anyone can answer that one.
I'll just talk about what we heard at Evolutions. And there is someone who runs an organization that generates thousands of shows. Her POV is that they're very well received. The other point of view is that humans can suss out humans, and that's really what people will respond to. I'm hoping that it's not a question of waiting for, garbage out. Um, I don't know. I think that there's two perspectives on it, and there's a time and a place for the use of AI on it, and that again, this being sort of a menschy group, that humans will prevail. But I don't know. I think that there's a glut is true.
Go ahead, Norma.
Yeah, I can kind of speak to this a little bit, right? I think that there's ways that we can educate toward AI and how people are using it and the best ways that a lot of professionals within the podcasting industry have, implemented the technology. I think that that's really important. I think a lot of people on this call and on the Board of Governors are kind of ahead of the curve or riding the wave like everyone else and can really speak to that. I also agree with EB, right? Like good content's going to stand on its own. And AI right now, while it can create, voices, it's not creating soundscapes, it's not creating, narrative crafted audio, which is what a lot of um, professionals in the space create. And that being said, I think as an industry, we're all growing together. I don't think that anybody on this call knows significantly more than anyone else about where the industry is going, right? I mean, even on the hosting side, everybody who wanted to host video was super committed to Megaphone and Spotify, and then Apple drops HLS, and it's a whole shift. So I do think that as an industry, we're all kind of growing old together. And so I think it's something where we can all explore that, bring in as many experts as we can, and facilitate that conversation as a community.
That's great. Thank you, Norma. Did I see any other hands?
Tommy, if
Yeah, sure. Go
if
ahead.
I could kind of answer to what we're doing in the organization here. So we have discussed this at the Board of Governors meetings in the past. There's been a lot of discussion about whether or not the TPA will police the industry or not. Is that our role? And to date, we haven't taken that part as under our guidelines, right? We're here for the industry as a whole. That being said, what we have decided to do is this upcoming October, we are going to have, we haven't come up with the exact name yet. I said like symposium or something of that nature, where every Wednesday in October, we're going to have a very specific talk, a very specific webinar on an AI topic. So throughout that month of October, we're going to try and get the best speakers we can to really come in and talk about here's the topic, here's the background, and focus in on that topic on it because as everybody knows, it's like AI is the biggest subject in the room, but it also can like entirely derail a conversation with everybody's opinions because it's such a big subject. So we're really going to hone in on specific things. And rather than trying to take a stance, what we're hoping to accomplish with this is give everybody on both sides the opportunity to have the conversation. At the end of that, we'll come out where we're hoping to publish some type of just informational document about that. To the other side of that, though, I know there's kind of like the idea of everybody's making AI slop, and I know that's what James posted, but then you also have Monday, he came out with the article about the history shows that were basically getting ripped off through AI agents. And there's two different kinds of sides here. There's certainly things that we're looking at when it comes to actual, I don't want to say actual, that's even taking a line. There's stuff we've discussed when it comes to directly stealing intellectual property of paths we want to go down. We're not there yet, but overall, we are going to do more of an informational type thing. So I hope that kind of answers the question as succinctly as what we're doing here.
Thank you, Brandon. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next question. Wondering what sort of value you all think the TPA offers to folks very deep into a career in podcasting, owning or running a production business, or inside one of the larger streaming companies. Just raise your hand, whoever.
I can answer this again too
Okay,
with our
great.
committee. I'll be honest, John, there's not enough right now. If I give you an honest answer, this is exactly why I came in. As a small business production company, there's not a lot of ways to do that. And I would love to talk to you personally and anyone else that's in that role where you feel like kind of what Donald was talking about earlier about, like your mentor, mentee, you're in that spot where, you're a small company, you have things. I want to make sure that we do have some programs for folks who are running small businesses, small production companies. So please reach out. That is on my to-do list this year, 100%.
Yeah, and I can add a little bit, just, you know, what we try to do is have value propositions for every type of creator, podcaster in front of or behind the mic. And it's some things are for some groups and some aren't. You might say, you might be in a position where like I don't need a mentor. What I need is, high level connections within larger companies or to be shoulder to shoulder with talent. All of those things we can provide and have provided. It's really just about what positions are you going to put yourself in once in the room, right? So you're in TPA, what committees are you going to join? Because you never know who else is going to be on that committee. I've been on committees with people who've helped my business tremendously. Just being on this board has helped my business, just meeting people who I otherwise would not be in a room with outside of a casual bump into at a conference once a year, but I could be on a board meeting with them once a month, right? So it shrinks your podcast world and brings creators, executives, whether at all levels closer to you. So it really is what you make of the opportunity once you're in the room or in the Zoom.
I like that. I'm gonna have to use that line. Anybody else want to add in? Okay, great. We're going to go on to the next question, which is an interesting one. Would an AI show be eligible for an AMBI?
I have to double check our. So at this point, no. So we're a full AI show. We don't have a category for that, and we have not discussed making it a category. Um, we haven't run into this as an issue yet, but it's something that we briefly discussed last year, and we will be discussing in more detail on the Ambies committee because it is my opinion that there will be some shows that are submitted next year. I also, we should look at all of this as like, take the headlines with a grain of salt. Like just because there's a lot of it out there does not mean that it's making money. Does not mean that it's sustainable long term. I think they're just now at the point where they're trying to figure out if it is sustainable. So I'm not sure if what's on the creators of purely AI podcasts, right? Not that use AI as a tool, which I think a lot of podcasts do, big and small. The pure AI shows written, hosted, by AI, have not been submitted yet to Ambies. And I don't know if that's on the radar yet, but we want to be ahead of it, and we've already started talking about it. So would love for you all to join in that conversation and even make it part of the overall AI conversation that we're having as TPA because it's relatable through Emmys and also other award shows.
Anybody else want to add on to that? Let's say AI discussion.
I can speak to that. Like I think I said before, I think we're all figuring it out, and I think it's important to ask those kind of questions and have these kind of discussions.
Okay, great. I don't see any more questions. So I think we will go ahead and wrap it up. We really appreciate you guys joining us. I am putting in the chat our kind of the run of show of today, all our socials, and a member survey for everyone. We appreciate your feedback. We need your feedback. This organization would not run without you, and we're really excited about this year. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.